Hello, hello. Welcome back. If you're in the room, share it out. I'm going to share this to the broadcast channels. If you don't know about our broadcast channels, hey, guess what? We have them on Instagram. We have them on Telegram. We have them on, you can join groups on Facebook. You can join the super chats. You can join all the things. I'm going to get Dr. Flo up here momentarily after I finish sharing this out. There's that, and there's that, and there's that. And let me see. Can you? I accepted. I don't know if it worked. Anywho, I'll introduce myself while we're working that out. I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. We're here doing Daily Boost with Love and Action Network. It is exactly what it says. We are here once a day, every day, to talk about the chakras, the 7-day chakra pillar challenge, which was implemented by Mr. Poppy Water 33. Oh, I see it. Okay. It did say I accepted, so I think you're coming up. Yay! And I am here now with Dr. Flo, but I'm going to give him a minute to find his filters, and he'll introduce himself, and I'll finish doing the 7-day pillar challenge. Stay tuned to the, oh Lord, stay tuned to the Instagram and places to see when we are going to be live and all that jazz. And all that jazz. Start the car, we're gonna bunny hug. And Love and Action Network is a mental health peer support organization where we encourage, equip, and empower you to put your love in action. You can join Dr. Flo in dream coaching, performance coaching, etc., etc. He's got his filters, so I'm going to throw it over to Dr. Flo to introduce himself and quit pontificating and spewing while he was trying to get up here. Go ahead, Dr.
I will not quit, and you shall not quit either. Being fabulous, loved, and lovable, young, gifted, and Black. That was crazy.
That was wild.
Some of you in the network know that I do true activism online. I say things, and I'm controversial and fun and jovial and full of many contradictions. And so I tried to go live in a place where I'm not allowed for the next 30 days, and that's okay because we have here. But while I was being blocked out, the whole app just shut down because my nefarious intent is to remind the world that they're loved and lovable. I'm Dr. Flo, and I am an entertainer and a mentor and a coach that wants to see dreams realized in this life, not in the next. If you can believe it, you can have it. If you want it, you can really have it, as we
if
say.
You want it, you can really have it. Yeah, also, we also say from the Halloween Town, which our new friend, Cousin Emily, she's not my new friend, she's Flo's new friend. Our new friend, Cousin Emily, was talking about Halloween Town the other day, and I was like, all you have to do is want something and let yourself have it. It's the best line in all of movie history. Anyway, wow. Shall we get to our inspo?
Yes, we shall.
Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Creator of happiness.
How perfect. I feel like I haven't seen this card.
I reclaim my power to create my own joy and happiness. It is not dependent on any outside source or individual. Therefore, it cannot be taken away. It can always be found within me. Creator of happiness. I reclaim my power to create my own joy and happiness. It is not dependent on any outside source or individual. Therefore, it cannot be taken away. It can always be found within me.
I really like that one. I really like that one. Are you doing a second? No, we're not doing a second. Okay. You looked like you were reaching for a second. Anywho, I have something more serious, friends. The first thing I will say is call for ceasefire also in the Liberation chat, which I should also share to the Deconstruction Junction topic in the Love and Action Super Chats. But anywho, there is a link to sign a petition for not another bomb. And this relates to what I'm about to share, which is a post from Adrienne Maree Brown, who you all know we love, foundational text, emergent strategy, get into it. And so she posted today, I'll play a little bit out loud.
Not another bomb, not another bomb. Not another bomb, not another bomb. Not another bomb, not another bomb. Not another bomb. Not another bomb, not another bomb.
So she sings this in the first two slides, and then she has a slide from Mossab, or a couple slides from Mossab, and then Victims of Capitalism Memorial Foundation. And it says on CNN Politics, it says, U.S. releases $3.5 billion to Israel to spend on U.S. weapons and military equipment months after Congress appropriated. So just in case we were all wondering who's still funding it, there's that. And then there's a couple more slides with some commentary on there. But then there is this poem from Adrienne. And I quite like it. I'm going to read her caption first, which says, simplest song spell to cast. Sing it at your death altar and love altar. Sing while looking at images of those who can make it policy. Sing at images of what's left. Sing as you take action. Let it sound destroyed. Pour your heartbreak through it. And then this poem says, sometimes solidarity is standing beside you while we scream at the monster. Sometimes it is letting the monster catch me, knowing you will run free. These days, defense is annihilation. These people, sniper children, find magic in the scope and kill it, and say they are safer now, that Hend is dead. Often now, I feel someone's hand on my mouth, saying, hush, hush, don't talk about the blood, but it's on their hands, so it's on my lips, even if I could be silent. Never, not ever, have I believed in killing children, not for any cause or terror. So when I see baby fat displaced from bone, spine exposed, tell me who to pray to. Last night, they somehow made it worse. I keep thinking they can't. I'm still so naive. In all these years, they never want anything good. Today I had to tell the children, we are the monsters, but we don't have to be. Today I said, if you hold on to your heart, some news will make you weep.
It's so wild, the choices we make. One of the sayings in Emotions Anonymous, which we are secretly a chapter of, the most rogue chapter on the block.
The most, child.
In addition to I need people, there is I have a choice. And we can choose to not drop another bomb on anyone. There's a choice that we can make. And we have to, we really have to drive that home. That we do not agree to funds from this country being funneled out of education and out of healthcare for our citizens and placed in these destructive ways. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine, ceasefire now. In our hearts, minds, and the world over, darlings. And join us on Deconstruction Junction on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. If you are interested. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Time, child. If you have more on that topic or other topics to deconstruct. Do you want to do BD or do you want to do chakras next?
Well, because we're in the open range today, I wanted to quickly click into lovedandlovable.bio.link,
Yes, please.
lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, and scroll down to the button that says Our Resources. Because I want to click people into a video that asks all of our listeners, are you ready for your change? Believing that everyone can make a radical change for the betterment of their lives today in this moment, Tara. The question that we're asking people in this network, are you ready to put your love in action, and are you ready for your change today? Below that question and that video is a link that I want to highlight. It is the emotion wheels. And I want everyone to just click through and to look into, are you feeling playful today, or are you scared? Are you sad, or do you feel loved? Are you embarrassed? Are you feeling happy? And not or, because sometimes you can feel the comfortable emotions of being loved and attractive, committed, high, charged, curious, attractive, powerful, bold, optimistic. But then there are also times when you have uncomfortable emotions, and sometimes they just feel like an uneasy feeling inside. But the uncomfortable emotion could be something like melancholy or feeling sorrowful. You could feel broken or discouraged. You may be feeling insignificant or let down. Perhaps you're feeling violated. Hey, Rashad, you're loved and lovable. Perhaps you've had a bleak situation in your life and you feel destroyed. Perhaps you're feeling pushed or pressured or uh, deflated. Anyway, dealing with these uncomfortable emotions and seeing them on paper along with comfortable emotions, identifying, we're going to add in very, very soon the needs wheels and just being able to see what our needs are in life. These things are going to help us come to terms with how we are addressing our day-to-day experience. Um, and so, anyway, I wanted to point people into the new place where those comfortable and uncomfortable emotions live, because they moved around a bit over the last few weeks, and I want to make sure that people are able to.
He is able.
Yeah, to connect with those materials. Sometimes our emotions get stuck in our crawl, as I was telling you earlier. Sometimes our energies get stuck in our chest or in our minds or in our feelings because we do not have a proper name for them. And if we could name our emotions, that's why the emotions are on our website, because if you can name your emotions, you can then take further tools of communication like I suffer, please help. Hi, Black Boy 702. You're loved and lovable. You can take language to your friends and family and people that care about you that says, dear beloved, I suffer, please help. And they're going to say, well, what do you need help with? And you say, well, I've been going to these programs at Love and Action Network, and we've been going through our comfortable emotions and our uncomfortable emotions, and I'm feeling a bit hurt, and I'm feeling a bit anxious and a bit powerless. And they're going to say, oh, you're feeling powerless, and you're asking me to help you. Well, how can I help you? If they love you, they're going to say, how can I help you feel more powerful? And we joke about this within our network a lot, but we have that language here where if we're having a rough day or we're feeling, as Tara would call, mid or below, we're able to say to each other, yo, Tara, I suffer, please help. And then she always goes, now, it's consistent support for us. She always goes, well, what do you think you need, or what do you need in this moment? Or what are you feeling? What's coming up for you? And sometimes it's, just loose, and we just speak out into the air for hours until we find center. But then we've also found in the past that we can go into these emotion wheels, comfortable emotions, uncomfortable emotions, and just talk about the boredom that's contributing to the anger that we have. Some people are dwelling in a lot of anger because they're bored. They've been angry for a very, very long time, and then that anger turns into boredom, jealousy, and annoyance. And so we should not be afraid to talk about our uncomfortable emotions and our comfortable emotions, because our feelings are driving the whole thing. And I just wanted to stop by and talk about that before we moved into the beady.
You want to do beady or do you want to do chakra? Beady, chakra, beady, chakra, beady.
I pulled beady.
Okay, melody beady, melody beady, melody beady. This week's theme is one of our favorites, be not afraid. Fürchte dich nicht, as I say in the German. Fürchte dich nicht. And we are not afraid that the child may wake up and make sounds. Those of you that have never been here before, this is maybe your first listen to the podcast, which you can find at that link that I just pinned. But if you're listening, lovably.bio.link, you can find all of the things. You can find the Substack. You can find ways to get in touch with us. Da da da. Anyway, I have a child. The child sometimes screams, but we're okay with that. Okay, so be not afraid. I will read until breathing on his own, which is two lines from the bottom of the first page. He went into the ICU and stayed until his newborn son began breathing on his own. Got it. All right. My daughter, Nick Hole, I don't like when people spell Nicole that way, but Nick Hole. My daughter, Nick Hole, was reading her son a bedtime story about fear. Wait. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself. My daughter, Nick Hole, was reading her son a bedtime story about fear. She told him that sometimes he'd be afraid of dangerous things, like putting his hand on a hot stove. Other times he'd be scared of nothing at all. See, there's really not a monster under the bed. He can tell people when he feels afraid and ask them to stay with him until he feels safe. Or he can hold a favorite toy until he feels okay. I wish it was that simple, I said to her later. What about those times we feel afraid and a monster is really there? Nicole knew what I meant. I was with her at the hospital when her second son was born. When he had trouble breathing and they whisked him away to the ICU, she looked at me. Tell me everything is going to be okay, she insisted. I couldn't speak. I averted my eyes. My fear was making her fear worse. I had to leave the room and pray. Thank God, Nicole's husband is a rock. He went into the ICU and stayed until his newborn son began breathing on his own.
Usually our fears are fantasies we've created in our mind, but once in a while we find ourselves living through and facing our worst fears. And sometimes when we're afraid, we have to draw on the strength of someone who's not as scared as we are. It can be tempting to dwell on difficult times from the past in order to give credibility to the what ifs that disrupt our peace. Once again, it can be tempting to dwell on difficult times from the past in order to give credibility to the what ifs that disrupt our peace. But we can also think about how we've survived and how well we've done in order to remind ourselves how brave we are. Be not afraid. That doesn't mean don't feel fear. From anxiety to panic to terror, all the shades of fear need to be acknowledged. Our emotions, however, are not who we are. Read that last paragraph one more time. Be not afraid. That doesn't mean don't feel fear. From anxiety to panic to terror, all the shades of fear need to be acknowledged. Our emotions, however, are not who we are. This week we'll look at fear along with the values of bravery, courage, and peace. We talked last week. This is a perfect alley-oop. We talked last week about how we have rediscovered that we are an Emotions Anonymous chapter on the Not So Low, and that we're wrestling with the roller coaster of emotions and our moodiness as it relates to ourselves, our community, our businesses. And I'm grateful that, well, I can feel so many uncomfortable and comfortable emotions throughout the day about where life is taking me. I'm grateful that I'm not identified with the bullshit of it all. You know, it's like I have concerns and needs and desires, but I'm not afraid. And there have been times in my life where I actually was in a desperate fear and afraid. And we got to talk this week, and I'm sure it will be developed through our discussions and through the text and through our discovery and through our deconstruction about how disempowering fear can be. Fear is like Poppy Water and I have been working on a home improvement project out in the backyard for a little mud pit situation that we had, and I had not in a long time, if ever in my life, lifted bags of rocks. That was either a new experience or a recurring one. However, fear is like carrying those bags of rocks in a backpack all day, wondering why it's hard to get to where you're going, or, you know?
It's like that scene in The Parent Trap. Those of you that are white at heart will know this reference because it's Lindsay Lohan and it's The Parent Trap. And in The Parent Trap, they go on this camping trip with their dad and his wife-to-be, whose name is Meredith. That poor thing. Anyway, they put rocks, they add, every time they sit to rest, they put another rock in her bag. And so the bag gets heavier and heavier and heavier the longer she goes. So she has to rest more and more and more and frequently. It finally ends with putting a gecko in her hair, which she is terrified of. But anyway,
They
it's a
go
whole
into
thing.
her mouth.
Yes. And then she goes,
I've seen this movie.
And they eat Oreos with peanut butter. And that's how they find out they're twins.
That's why Poppy Water eats Oreos with peanut butter as well.
Yes. Correct. Yes. It always, this is part of the book, which I don't know. I feel like we've read this part before. This is the first year, y'all, where I think we are actually going to make it all the way through this book.
Oh, we are.
I think we're going to do 52 weeks. But this part makes me think, courage is not the absence of fear, right? It's not the absence of fear. It's the triumph over it, or the decision to see it and deciding that something else is most important or more important than the fear. So I'm excited for this week. Shall we do you want to do chakra questions?
Yes, but right before we do chakra questions, I want to remind, one of my first therapists told me, how about instead of running away from things in your life, you find something that you want to run towards? And that changed my whole life. And even speaking it to you right now and knowing that people are going to hear it later, because we've got about 500 people that pay attention to us monthly through this platform and distribution. My beloved's coming in the back door, and I have shiny object syndrome.
Find something that you want to run towards.
Yeah, it's important. It's
Yes.
important. It's important. So many people in life will just run away from things, run away from challenges, run away from people, and that's a certain kind of fear-based way of living that can be very, very tiring and doesn't have a lot of hope in it. Looking behind you, trying to see who's coming to get you over your shoulder. Why don't you set your mind on things above? And the things above, so it's even in your quantum field.
Ooh, some would.
some would say, where things are bright, joyous, and secure. That's a higher vibration. Anyway, we should move forward. Every Sunday in Love and Action Network, we walk through, or we start the 7-day pillar challenge, and we walk through all 7 chakras from Sunday to Saturday. The affirmation of Sunday is I am, and Tara will take us through some questions related to that chakra that help us get acquainted with who we are. We used to be the kind of organization that would give people a lot of answers and facts and say, go this direction. But we know now that one size fits all personal development and professional development is just not a thing. Right. So,
and the crisis of belonging cannot be fixed with facts and figures. Usually facts and figures. I don't know what that's from. When he sees me. From Waitress. Anyway, there you are, y'all. This is the voice teacher brain of the voice teacher coming back to teaching.
I've seen it twice, and once was with I've seen it twice, and once was with Shoshana Bean.
Oh, yes, Shoshana,
who's fantastic. And I think I've seen it once with the girl who wrote it, lady
with
who wrote
Sarah.
it. Yeah, Sarah I've seen it once with Sarah Rellis, and I've seen it once with Shoshana Bean. On Broadway both times, and I still couldn't pick out the songs, but it was a cute show.
I have never seen the show. I just know a lot of the songs because the people sing them. So I'm going to read grounding and stability because I feel like we need that this week. And I am also going to read.
Are you feeling a particular need, a reason why for the grounding and stability? Are you feeling something in your psychic field
I just feel like it's going to be a big week, and I feel like a lot of stuff is going to get done, and I think things are going to move quickly, and sometimes when things move quickly, we can feel a little bit not stable. So grounding and stability is necessary. So the questions for grounding and stability are, do I feel grounded and connected to the earth? How do I create a sense of stability and structure in my life? In what ways do I nurture a sense of belonging and community? I'll read them one more time. Hello, Cousin Joseph. Do I feel grounded and connected to the earth? How do I create a sense of stability and structure in my life? In what ways do I nurture a sense of belonging and community? Aw, thank you, Joseph. We love you. All right. Do you want to answer any of those, Flowskis? Or you want me to move on to the next?
Ask me one. Toss me one again.
Toss you one. I'm going to toss you one over the fence. In what ways do I nurture a sense of belonging and community?
Oh my God. My presence. Like, I run a whole network.
My presence
is heaven to me.
Anyway. Okay, home and environment. And I'm bringing this one up because Flowskis and Dr. Poppy, I almost called him, Poppy Suzette. Dr. Flowskis and Poppy Suzette did a home improvement project this weekend. So I'm going to read home and environment, okay? Is my living space a place of comfort and safety? How do I feel about my current home or living situation? And what changes can I make to enhance the feeling of security in my environment? And I don't know why this one like hit me in the chest today. Like these questions like hit me. In my living space, is my living space a place of comfort and safety? Yes. Mostly. I sometimes feel like I want to escape when my child is screaming. It makes my house a little bit less.
But do you feel it to be like, I find my home to be very, very cozy and comfortable and nest worthy. Like there's fresh flowers and
yeah, I feel like I want to like run away sometimes, and then when I get out, with the child, I'm like, oh my God, let me just go back home. So I'm in between.
I see.
I'm in
I see.
between about it. How do I feel about?
There are no yelling children in my house. So
there are no yelling children in your house, and it's not your child. So as we learned on the sleep post today, that you are not a parental.
I just like to watch it all happen with my wonderfully buttered popcorn.
Your wonderfully buttered popcorn.
And I've been watching people parent in that parenthood of adulthood for the last 2 decades.
I love it. I love it. How do I feel about my current home or living situation? I wish my house was bigger, but that's about it. What changes can I make to enhance the feeling of security in my environment? I feel secure.
I feel secure too.
I feel secure. I don't think I need to change anything.
I think that I did not feel secure for quite some time here, but I think that was a personal mindfuck of my own, where I was just constantly putting myself in like a hyperbolic kind of need to panic about the safety. And you have to really give yourself that sense of safety in order to have a internal solid ground to then build upon externally. And so once again, if you're out there today and you're feeling scared of life, or you're feeling like, you know, like you can't, it's important that you just say, in this moment, I'm safe and I'm okay. Because if you don't find that still pond inside of you, it can be very, very, very hard to move forward with courage and confidence. If you think that, you know, if you're easily triggered, or it's, you know, I panic very, very easily.
You do.
Because I'm lifting things that my forefathers and their fathers and their fathers did not. Which is, you know, I'm not sure if that's an excuse or limited belief or anything like that. However, I'm finding it important to just call myself content, even on the days where I'm not so content, so that I can prime that well more than the one that's got the bullshit.
Agreed.
Because would we all rather feel safe enough and content as a gift to ourselves in this moment than the self-violence that is thinking that bad things could potentially happen?
Right.
And we can't control any of it.
None of it.
Which is why we have the prayer in the 12-step, you know, higher power, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
And the wisdom to know the difference. Hello, Mark. Mark J. Mullins.
Welcome, Mark.
Welcome, Mark.
Mark, dear Mark, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to say it one more time because I really need this to be in my spirit this week as I move forward. We want to ground people in something that's really, really powerful and impactful, and something that matters. We're not here talking on the internet and these broadcast channels with you all because we got nothing better to do, because we're just twiddling our thumbs, you know, across the country. This is impactful work that's going to change 10 generations forward and 10 generations back if we get our shit together. You know, there's work to be done. So, I know where I'm going into this old man Magoo, you know, get off my lawn, loved and lovable kind of feel, but it's important that we find ourselves quickly, because there's work to be done.
Beyond the driveway, boo-boo.
Beyond, yeah, exactly.
Be not afraid of beyond the driveway.
Be not afraid.
Yeah. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. I think that's all. I'll see you tomorrow. Dr. Flo will see you on Tuesday. Continue to be anti-racist. Be safe. Wear a mask. Make good trouble. Do good work. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable, and ain't nobody can change that, even yourself. Even if you're afraid of loving yourself, child, you can't change it. You can't change it, child. We'll see you next time.